everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into organizational design, and let me tell you, these materials you sent are amazing. It's like we're trying to crack the code of what makes organizations tick.
It's a fascinating field, really. You start digging into these structures and you see how they can either make or break a company's success.
Right, and these materials don't hold back. I mean, killer app, thin organization, even don't fix what isn't broken. They're not afraid to get right into it.
I think one of the things they emphasize early on is the importance of having a solid foundation. They outline this 10-step process, and the first 3 steps, those are all about setting the stage for success.
So it's like before you even start building the house, you got to make sure you got the right blueprint, the right foundation.
Yeah, exactly. And it all starts with vision. It seems obvious, but it's easy to lose sight of that in the day-to-day. We need to constantly ask ourselves, what are we ultimately trying to achieve? The materials use this company, Egg, as a case study, and their vision is all about revolutionizing the way people manage their finances, becoming the go-to e-partner. Everything in their design should support that overarching goal.
It's like that North Star. Right, guiding all their decisions. So that's where the business architecture comes in. It's the roadmap to get them there.
You got it. They even map out how Egg structures its entire business around this concept of financial present and financial future. They get super specific too, outlining roles, responsibilities, even the metrics they use to measure success.
So it's not just some vague idea, it's an actual plan.
Oh yeah, a detailed blueprint. And this level of detail is so important for keeping everyone on the same page, from the top down.
But it's not just about being organized. You need something that sets you apart.
Right.
And that's where the whole killer app concept comes in.
Right. The killer app is all about identifying what makes your organization truly unique, what you do better than anyone else, and building your strategy around that. It's your superpower.
I love that. So for Egg, it's that seamless integration of tech and financial advice. But you can't just have a killer app and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
You need the right structure to support it, to let it thrive.
Absolutely. And that's where clarifying design criteria comes in.
And this is where it gets interesting because they introduce the idea of a thin organization, which at first glance sounds kind of counterintuitive.
Right, because we're so used to thinking bigger is always better.
Right. But they argue that a thin organization isn't about being weak. It's about agility and efficiency, cutting out the unnecessary bureaucracy and empowering people to make decisions.
Exactly. It's about being lean and mean, like a well-oiled machine. Every part is essential, therefore a reason.
So a thin organization is more like strategic and focused, not just small. Okay, I get it. But how do we figure out which parts of our organization are essential and which ones we can trim down?
Well, we need a way to analyze our capabilities, right? And these materials offer a really cool tool for that, the Venkatraman Matrix. It's a model that helps you look at everything you do and decide what's truly core to your success, what needs more investment, and what's maybe better off being outsourced.
So instead of trying to be good at everything, we figure out what we're really good at and double down on that.
Exactly. It's about being honest about your limitations and strategically choosing where to focus your energy. You can't be all things to all people. And that's where that whole don't fix what isn't broken idea comes in.
Right. If it's not essential to your killer app, maybe it's time to rethink its place in your organization.
Now, this focus on alignment shouldn't just be at the company level. The materials also emphasize defining competencies at every level: organizational, process, and even individual.
It's making sure everyone is on the same page, rowing in the same direction.
Precisely. Like a mosaic, each piece contributes to the bigger picture. And speaking of pieces, let's talk about competency pools.
Okay, break that down for me. What exactly are competency pools?
Think of it this way. Every process in your organization needs a specific set of skills to run smoothly, right? Competency pools are basically those clusters of skills grouped together.
Got it. So it's not just about saying we need marketers. It's about defining the specific skills within that marketing team. Like, we need someone who understands SEO, someone who can write killer ad copy,
Exactly. And they give a great example in materials with the portal process at Egg. Remember, Egg wants to be that one-stop shop for financial wellness. Well, their portal needs a whole bunch of skills to function. Space management, tech expertise, content creation, they're all critical.
Like assembling the perfect team, each player with their own strengths. And this reminds me, they talked about Honda, right? How they became such a powerhouse.
Yeah, they use Honda as an example of leveraging core competencies. So Honda's known for their engines, right? But they didn't stop at cars. They used that expertise to branch out into motorcycles, lawnmowers, even generators.
They took what they were great at and used it as a foundation for growth. That's smart. And this isn't just for companies, right? This applies to our careers too.
100%. Think of your own skills. What are you really good at? Your core competencies. Once you identify them, you can leverage them to find new opportunities, maybe even in unexpected places.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like, instead of just saying, I'm a good writer, I need to think, okay, what type of writing? What are my strengths within that? This is making me rethink my whole approach to my career.
And that's what I love about these materials. They offer a framework that works on multiple levels: company, team, individual. These principles can help you design for success.
It's about being intentional, about taking control of your own destiny. But let's be real, this is all a bit overwhelming. Where do we even start?
That's where that 10-step process comes in handy. Remember we talked about building a strong foundation? Well, those next steps, they give you a roadmap to tackle this challenge, one step at a time.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Right, I like that.
And it's important to remember, Organizational design isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process. Your goals will evolve, the market will shift, so your design needs to be flexible enough to adapt.
So it's more like tending a garden than building a house. You're always adjusting, adapting to the changing seasons.
That's a great way to put it. And that constant adaptation, it can be tiring, right? So how do we stay energized, avoid burnout?
That's the million-dollar question. Yeah, how do we keep from burning out when it's always go, go, go?
Well, the materials talk about this idea of building a culture of continuous learning. It's about creating an environment where people feel comfortable experimenting, sharing ideas, and yeah, even failing sometimes.
Because sometimes you learn more for the things that don't work, right?
Exactly. Failing forward. I love that. It takes the pressure off.
For sure. But that takes trust, right? People need to feel safe to take those risks.
100%. Open communication is key here. Everyone, from the top down, needs to feel heard and valued.
It's about creating that space where people can speak their minds without fear of, being punished for making an honest mistake.
Psychological safety, that's what it's all about. And it loops back to that intentional design philosophy. We're not just building structures, we're shaping environments where people can thrive.
We've covered so much ground today. This deep dive has been amazing. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap things up?
If there's one thing to remember, it's this. There's no magic formula for organizational design. It's about finding what works best for your company, your goals, your people. So don't be afraid to experiment, to try new things, to adapt as you go.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But on that note, we'll leave everyone with one final thought. We talked about competency pools today. Now think about your OWN team, your OWN organization. What are your essential competency pools? Are there any gaps you need to fill? Use these insights to keep exploring, keep learning, keep building awesome organizations. And thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.